Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. It is day 71 of my 90-day challenge. Hope you all are doing well this evening. It is once again go time here. It is Monday, and once again, the challenge of this week is that we're stepping away from our deep spring mode here, and we're moving into transitioning for now into a light spring and into a summer feel, the summer mode here. So what that means, these first few days, we're adding more options, and once again, we're adding more root vegetables to get sweet tasting vegetables like carrots into the mix here, right? To just have that, just not feel like it's, that part where it just feels, we get to that point where we think, oh, this is just becoming too repetitive. That's why we don't really stay into one mode for too long. So at least for now, like we do this like with every 5 weeks at least. So yeah, we're changing things up this week, this Monday, to just have a little reset from the spring mode. Once again, it is, these last 5 weeks, we've been biohacking our body to release the weight, right, by removing sweet tasting foods that may trigger our bodies to stay in fall mode, right? Or not fall mode, but stay in that winter mode of just, holding on to the calories for, once again, to help us survive the, long winter seasons, or especially stressful moments, to hold on to the calorie to run from dangers. And just once again, it's just for survival, right? But we're not, once again, it's so much a lot different for us at this stage, right? So we're switching things up just for I believe this week. And we'll be adding some root vegetables. So once again, carrots a good example. Any sweet tasting root vegetables. Then we'll be adding and then probably um Wednesday and Thursdays we'll be, also adding in, yeah, sweet potatoes, yams, right? To once again just reset that body and head into kind of a summer feel. That's right. And then the rest of the week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, feel free to add in some berries. So it's a slow transition. Just to, once again, if you guys were doing this for 5 weeks and felt like you are having a plateau, this is definitely a good time for just the body to just switch things up. And then hopefully when we transition back into spring mode. um, Especially if you're still having health goals to reach, then it's becomes like even more effective, right? As the body, transitions, and then we're flipping the switch back. But then will be more news on that for next for this coming Friday. So these next 2 days, feel free to add in more root vegetables. Those are, sweet tasting root vegetables. And then Wednesday, Thursday, adding a little bit more options like sweet potatoes and yam. And then yeah, this coming Friday, just yeah, definitely will be this Friday. We'll be talking about the enhancements for week number 12. And once again, we are down to the last 3 weeks of this challenge. So GG's for everyone who's been doing this challenge with me. Super awesome. And once again, we got through 10 weeks, and we're heading into the last final 3 weeks of this challenge. And yeah, hopefully you guys are, hitting your health goals, or even most importantly, just really changing up your habits, and just keeping an open mind, keeping that dialogue open, and just having that body talk, right? As we were saying, once was, having that inner dialogue, but now, as we go through this program, and feedbacks and learning things new, just tying that into my coaching, uh, as holistic coach, right? So adding that, just some of the things will be changing over time, right? So yeah, we'll find out more this coming Friday, but for now, that's the plan. As we're just breaking, we're slowly transitioning out of the deep spring mode. And let's say that's just eating the vegetables, and eating high quality meats, if possible, right? And lots of water, lots of fluids, right? Not the alcohol or fluids we're talking about, right? Or coffee, but just a lot of fluids, especially if you can add Himalayan salt or magnesium or potassium drinks into that. Especially, I think there's an element brand that's just unflavored powder mix, so you guys can get your magnesium and potassium um, um, needs met, right? Especially if you're having muscle soreness, because once again, you removing a lot of these processed foods, these fast foods from your diet, obviously, you have removed a lot of salt and sugars and unhealthy fats, right? So, once again, when you're probably getting these root vegetables, these yams and sweet potatoes in and berries, you'll probably notice that they are gonna taste a lot sweeter. What used to be just maybe a little bit bland, has now started a lot sweeter, as you have cleansed and reset your palate, your taste buds. A lot of these things, yeah, definitely will taste a lot different, right? So yeah, it's especially when at the time it tastes bland, because obviously you've been having a lot of food that's been infused with sugar, salts, and unhealthy fats, that it's a lot of these other stuff that were healthy just felt you know unmotivating, because they didn't taste well without having these things put into them. But with that cleanse, these things will start, will have a bit more flavor now, as you don't have those intense flavors that's been making the healthy foods not stand out for you, right? So that's going to be happening for this week. Friday, once again, we'll make announcements of what's to expect for the upcoming Monday, right? And once again, we'll probably more likely be switching back into spring if you're still need to hit your health goal. But once again, this is also a nice transition into the summer, right? So just kind of a more natural way of eating, right? So, well, once again, the deep springs that we were doing, the last 5 weeks is more of, once again, just biohacking our bodies to just release as much of the calories that we've been storing up during for winter, right? All right, so yeah, that is information. And also news as well is that I did say that I will be doing the 3-day workshop here on the 23rd, next Monday, but because this is being spring break, and at the same time now my wife is having, her vacation starts next week. So I'm thinking that she wants to just have like a 1 day trip out and just have that reset for herself. And definitely for, she needs that reset because, once again, she's the breadwinner of this family. And you know definitely just we need, like we do the reset here for our bodies, for our nutrition. Obviously our mental state needs that reset as well. So once again, our last vacation was last summer. So yeah, the spring break was, it's a good thing for her to have that reset for herself as well. So once again, yeah, we won't have, and once again, since this is the spring, first week of spring, obviously next week is the last week of the spring break. So it's the only time that we'll have our son available to join us for, just that 1 day trip, right? So that's what she wants. I mean, and we'll, that's the best we can do for her, right? Um, so yeah, it's going to be interesting and fun, and family time. And definitely, once again, you have that experience, that memories to just even amplify your fuel, your drive, your mission, your purpose, and why you're doing this, right? So obviously, we'll have that reset this week, and then obviously, but remember, once again, it's um, doing this 90-day challenge is foundational, right, for the start of our overall health, right? Doing this the second time, you don't really have to do 90 days, right? You can do, the first 5 weeks is, once again, just getting started and building that foundation. But once you have that foundation, like the second time around, it'll just be more of a 60-day, right? And because that first week of the challenge is more now just figuring out what foods have been now kind of like um giving you that feel I guess is I feel allergic to it, or just giving you stomach ache, or figure out which foods are still okay, right? So once again, it's just finding that balance where once again, most important, you keep the nutrient dense foods in, and just have that that time that's fun. So what can be, once again, this 90-day challenge can be, once again, moved into more of five weeks, right? Going into different modes like spring, fall, summer, and winter modes, right? And then from that, once you are, do a couple rounds, like now that can be like, being able to enjoy once a week, or once a few weeks, and then maybe, yeah, once every 5 to 6 days, because then your body has been trained to be able to switch into those modes. And you have one day of just enjoying with your friends and family and colleagues. Then at least the you have that foundation built, those habits built, that you can definitely cleanse and get back to healthy living in the next 5 to 6 days after that, right? So once again, we're doing our very best. We're not to repeat, you know, going back into what we've created for decades of making unhealthy choices, not because it's our fault, because it's like it's culture, it's social media, it's advertising. They're all triggering us and have been training us for even in our youth, right? And undoing decades upon decades compared to undoing that in 90 days. Obviously, you guys can realize that 90 days is not going to be enough. It's a great starting point, right? And it's helps a lot to have that, that conversation with yourself, that body talk, right? And then through that, just, building that and just what's a good term? Keeping not having that mindless eating anymore, right? That we've been doing in the past. Not eating food for taste, but eating food for energy. Like because example, not eating food for the taste of that experience, but having food as that energy to have that experience with others, right? So food is just a secondary thing there, a health once again, if possible, a healthy option there. It's once again that energy that's provided by food to have that experience with others, or having that experience in the moment, right? So hopefully, yeah, hopefully that's been super helpful, and um definitely getting into a lesson that definitely came up for me tonight today, right? So it's, yeah, I think my great thought process, not only just being able to walk and be out there, but I guess my great one of my great thinking process is just thinking while I'm in the shower, right? So definitely this was one experience that I um, had with my son uh, and his swimming lessons last week, because unfortunately finding out he didn't pass, but it was a good lesson for himself. But at the same time, there were two lessons in that. So I'll tell you the story. I did create an AI video here, but hopefully, let's see. This is the first time I'm seeing it, so you can watch this with me and see if it has similarity to my son's experience. But obviously, my son's experience is through uh, having experience and then the results after the experience. But if you can show both experience as two separate people, then hopefully this video can share that experience. All right, so let's watch this. Let's see if I can get this in full screen here. Oh, that's not it. All right, let's see if this goes well. Let me know if you guys can hear the audio.
Lena Porter stood at the edge of the pool, her nerves coiling tighter with every shriek of laughter echoing across the water. Her hands gripped the diving board, clammy with anticipation. She'd heard all week about the staff relay, the infamous start of summer challenge at Blue Pine Community Pool. To her, the idea of plunging off that high board felt like signing up for a moon landing, calculated, terrifying, but just out of reach. Beside her stood Ray Baker, flashing a wide, boastful grin. "Watch and learn, Lena. This is child's play." His bravado was known across the community center, the kind that filled up a room. He bounded to the board with a showman's flair, flexing for the crowd of co-workers. "Bet I'll set the record and you'll be too scared to even jump," he teased gleefully. Lena considered slinking away, but something in the crowd's cheer flickered in her chest. She'd spent the last 3 nights picturing every way this could go wrong: slip, belly flop, mortification. The what ifs crowded her mind until the mere act of standing on the board felt like a victory. As Ray launched himself into the air, twisting for an elaborate dive, Lena watched. At first, he seemed to fly, every eye fixed on his spinning form, until his legs whipped out at the wrong angle. The crack of a painful landing broke the crowd's cheer, replaced by sympathetic winces and awkward laughter. Ray surfaced, sputtering, his face a vivid red. All his confidence seemed to wash away with a single splash. Lena stepped forward, her knees still shaky, but a small, stubborn spark of determination lit inside her. She remembered the endless scenarios her imagination had conjured. Instead of fueling her fear, they prepared her. She took a breath, focused not on the crowd or the outcome, but on the act, one foot in front of the other. She reached the end of the board, heart hammering. There was no rush. She let the breath out, counted off her worries, then pushed off into open air. The fall was swift, exhilarating, ending with a clean, bright splash. Beneath the water, Lena realized the thing she dreaded for days was not just survivable, it was liberating. Ray met her at the edge of the pool, rubbing his head, shaken but grinning in defeat. "Looks like the universe just taught me a lesson, hey," he admitted. Lena, chest heaving with pride and relief, managed a laugh. Turns out thinking things through isn't so bad, after all. Together, they hauled themselves out of the pool. Lena's heart was lighter, her fears tamed by experience. Ray's swagger softened into camaraderie, and the two found themselves swapping stories of times they'd been afraid and times they'd been wrong. The day ended with the whole staff gathered around, everyone tossing their own challenges onto the pile of community legend. Lena realized then, to grow wasn't about fearing or conquering, but being willing to confront the things you feared, accept when you overestimated yourself, and be open to the lessons tucked into every leap. Sometimes you're thrown in the deep end, she realized, but that's how you learn to swim. And next time, you're not leaping alone.
All right. Hopefully, that was a nice lesson. I think I might have to work on that again. As yeah, I mean, like I said, the experience is years. Constructive fear versus overconfidence. Obviously, the AI did its very best to picture that. Hopefully, I can do my best to do a better uh, version of that. Especially now, this will be more of a three point of views. So obviously, let's say, especially my son's um, experience or event might hopefully paint a picture. So obviously, I found out like it for him, especially the second last day, which was a last Monday, that he was, they were heading to the deep end just for that, experiencing of the deep end. But realizing, finding out later that this was the second time, so that kind of painted a picture for myself. So let's say here, like, once again, if you put those two pictures separately, then you can understand it in a better way, why to approach in the third point of view. So basically, constructed fear, right? So this is the second time he went in. So obviously, heading into the pool, the instructor is getting them in and having them jump into the deep end as one part of their exercise, part of their graduation. So obviously, my son did that while some of the kids jumped in. My son instead, uh, put his sat down and put his foot into the water, and kind of like um, made his way into the water. So with that said, it's kind of like, constructive fear, in a way that, you could think of so many possible ways of, oh my gosh, if the water's so deep, I don't think I'm gonna float. I don't know, if I don't float, I won't be able to make it back up in the to the surface again. Overthinking things that might be a scenario or might not be, right? And then just, finding out later that, all those f- you know fears that, or scenarios that we go through, to thinking that, this is a, you know bad idea. But I mean, like I said, people are swimming at the pool and whatnot. So it's, but once you get in there, you jump on in, and you just realize that a lot of the scenarios that played in your head didn't really happen, right? And at the same time, you have someone there. You have a lot, not only your instructors, but also lifeguards there, if ever scenario that comes up. But you find out it's not so bad. You dive in, and then you're being pushed back up again, and then your swimming lessons come in handy, that to help you stay afloat, right? And again, once a lot of those fears that we put in our minds before it even happens, that it's definitely, we just tend to laugh at ourselves, and thinking that, when I went through all the scenarios, and it's just like this is not so bad, right? So versus the other side, and this is the first time. Now this is where it makes a little bit sense now. The other side, which is overconfidence, right? So thinking, oh, everything's going well. I'm doing so well here. Another word, I'm hot stuff, and I got this in the bag, no problem. So this is the part that I did not see happen, because I was doing my walks while my son was swimming, and my wife was available to be with him on his swimming lessons. So yeah, this is the part where, yeah, he did take the instruction of the instructor, and I believe, well, one thing, I didn't visualize this, but he did happen to jump in, and I guess um, he was humbled. He was humbled by that experience, and obviously, yeah, he'll have to work his way into feeling confident once again to have that. So definitely two things to the same thing. Obviously, reverse now. If he's, if you're sticking the second time, then obviously that humble experience has had him, just kind of slowly make his way into the pool rather than jumping into the pool. So that overconfidence have humbled him in the way that to take that approach. Obviously, it's one of the things that he needed to pass. But once again, that's something that he'll work on to and improve over time, and that's why we'll be spending kind of these two spring breaks to going to the pool more often for him to practice. So now, with that said, right, that is part of, once again, this third approach, this third point of view, rather than overthinking things and being overconfident, so constructive fear or overconfidence. Just, and we've been saying this on, the last few episodes here, is just, come with an open mind, right? You're more likely gonna hear a lot of stuff here and there, right? And through friends, through media, through looking up in YouTube, right? But once you have your own experience, and keep an open mind, and just be curious, and observing, and once again just trying it out, right? It's that is definitely, you know letting you be able to, uh, at the same time, like I said, me training up for my first marathon. Obviously, we wanted, we want our time, but we can't really have a time based on what, right? So trying the first time as, as a baseline, as a foundation, is gonna help you in making sure that, that, all fears and all confidence aside, that you're able to, just learn and understand, and through that kind of lens, keeping an open mind will definitely help support you in just, trying things out for the first time, right? So just, also very important that, that, if it's very important to you and you really want to learn it, and sometimes, opinions of others and what you see out there and what you hear, and what you watch, and it's not going to equal to the experience that you're having, and everyone's experiences are different. Some people enjoy the same movie, at the same time, that same movie, some people did not enjoy it, right? And you can always you can always see in the review where whether how can 4.8 people agree about this Amazon review, while the other point two don't see the same lens, right? And where's the other way is like, these people, this point two, are like looking at like these guys are getting scammed and whatnot. So there's, once again, we all have our expectations and our qualifications, and what we look for, and everyone's different, unique, and how they assess things, and once again, your experience is gonna be that foundation to now deciding if, this is for you or if it's not, instead of just this is not for you but not even trying it out, right? Or, you know um being overconfident and realizing that, oh, it's a lot harder than you thought, right? So, and that was, kind of like the my son's experience, but then through that, through that, giving up as well is not even the answer. After finding out it's hard, it's like, you know just keeping, you know getting back at it again, right? That's the important thing right there. And so once again, just those two different lenses can, definitely, uh prevent us from moving forward here, right? So definitely very important for us to, as always, just, you know be curious, keep an open mind, and most importantly, try new things, try new ways, right? Right, there's so many ways to the same destination, right? Once again, making being healthy, making money is straightforward and whatnot, then everyone will be, you know doing it. But there's, obviously, we're a species that continue to learn, adapt, and once again push the envelope. And that's definitely something that, we need to remind ourselves, is to continue to learn, being able to adapt to the various situations as we learn and gain experience. And yeah, just, most importantly, just, uh trying these out as well, and finding what works for us, what we're for now comfortable of doing, and then once again, once we continue to improve, evolve, and become, right, and then new decisions will emerge rather than the decisions and guide and of people who have stopped doing because these various reasons. And once again, once you stop, that you only did that through uh, one or a few attempts and not exercising as much as that's really out there. So hopefully this has been helpful, and hopefully once again this has uh mind shift your perspective on the same thing, but at the same time just things these things through an open mind, and curiosity is definitely going to best serve you in the long run. And once again you know will help keep the stress away and help navigate you know through that to once again more common relaxing experience for yourself and for your future. All right, so hopefully this has been helpful. And once again, we may be moving the 3-day workshop on the 30th. I'm going to find out what day my wife will be wanting to do the 1-day excursion, but obviously it won't probably won't work for our timeline because I wanted to give you guys a head start, and once again giving week 1 of week and week 2 uh with you as a head start before the actual 90 days. And then you can think about when the 90 days starts on April 6th, that you guys can, okay, I'm seeing success or I'm not seeing success, so let's see what or 90 days will do, or basically this is not for me if I can uh, find that success in the first those 2 weeks. So it's once again, so as we had here in the program, it's a buffer zone, right? So but hopefully that 3-day workshop will help you. So probably I'll have to alternate, and if we are doing it on the 30th, then obviously I have to pivot in that day 1 of the 3-day workshop, and probably merge the 2 weeks into one to get you guys head start here. So I have something in mind now. So but for the meantime, those dates might change, so we'll let you know as the week progress this week, and then we'll see what how my wife feels to the itinerary of when she wants to get the started, how much we need to accomplish on that itinerary. So thank you guys for joining me to this evening. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. So feel free to give this video the thumbs up or like. Once again, this is being streamed on 3 different platforms, so feel free to subscribe or follow, whether you're on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. And once again, hit those notification buttons to be updated when I go live. Once again, you can head over to this QR code here, or head over to coachryanj.com to stay up to date and to see what other social outlets I'm on. Uh, I will be working on that website as well to add a sign up form for that 3-day workshop, and then yeah, we'll be making some changes on that site on my website as well to just definitely finalize things and just see what's happening. in my world, and uh, partnerships and whatnot. So yeah, I'm just continue to progress, keep open mind, and just keep chipping away at it. So once again, thank you everyone, as always, to my wonderful community on Twitch. Once again, you guys definitely made things happen here, and once again, I hope to once again reach um, kind of that life mission with your guys' help. So once again, it's definitely important as always. Especially with the constructive fear and overconfidence, is having that environment. So if you're able to raise your environment, especially in those stuff that you want to try and attempt, keep an open mind, uh, be curious, and try new things, right? Then obviously raising your environment is very important, so that um, when attempting it, then you get your feedback, you get your baseline, then you have the guidance to move forward, right? So once that is in place, then yeah, you're able to raise yourself and become that version that you envision yourself to be through being that environment. And then one day you may be paying it forward and be the impact for your own environment, your friends, your family, your colleagues, your own very own community, right? So you just don't know what people are going through, and your experience can be key in igniting that flame for someone else, right? So wonderful compliment, just a phone call from someone you haven't heard from a long time can be that wake up call that ignites them. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I wish you all a wonderful rest of your evening and a wonderful week ahead. So take good care, and I will catch you on the next stream.